Hello folks, this is Scott with Dallas Paint Correction and Luxury Microfiber here in Dallas, Texas. I want to do a review on a really cool product that I found at AutoZone. What I have down here in the bucket is 1 gallon of water. I have about a half ounce of my rinseless wash called DPC Revive inside the bucket. I'm going to use it as a clay lube. I've got a fallout remover, so we're going to try something here. The back of this lift gate, right, whatever you call these things on pickup trucks, I've neglected this vehicle for several months. I can feel that there is bonded contaminants on this tailgate, so I'm only going to clay half the side of this tailgate and then use an iron remover afterwards to see how effective the AutoZone clay towel is. So I'm going to put you guys down. Please excuse me, it's a little windy. We're about ready to get a thunderstorm here. Let me set the camera down. I'm sorry folks, this is always a pain in the butt, right? All right, so there we are. So let me go ahead and show you this clay towel from AutoZone. Pretty cool towel. What happens is you get 2 of these towels in the package from AutoZone. I think it ends up being about $8.50 per clay towel. This is a synthetic clay towel. It's a microfiber towel. What's really interesting about the pattern of this synthetic material, it's almost like a honeycomb. There's little holes within the synthetic clay area. It's not a completely smooth, flat surface like most clay towels. This is very interesting, and this is what I found about this product. If you have heavy contamination on the paint, some of that heavy contamination can kind of hide in these small pockets. That's kind of a nice advantage to this particular clay towel. But let me go. This is completely drenched in my DPC Revive. I'm just going to go in here and start claying this truck. Oh God, yes. I've neglected this truck so much that I can feel how nasty the bonded contaminants are on this paint. I know guys, right? I'm a professional detailer. I've got no time to take care of my own vehicles, but as I use this, I will tell you this right now from my experience, it will pick up light contamination relatively easy, moderate contamination, it doesn't seem to have a problem with it. It can also lift some heavy contamination that might be on the paint. Pretty cool. This towel, this little clay towel for $8.50. I think it's like 17 bucks for the package, but you get 2 towels with it. That's pretty cool. So let me go in here and continue to clay quickly until I feel those contaminants are gone. I'm not applying a lot of pressure, I'm just letting the clay towel kind of do its thing. One of the things that's interesting, in my opinion, when it comes to claying a vehicle, I prefer a traditional clay bar. Clay towels, clay discs, synthetic clay blocks tend to, in my opinion, mar the surface more than these type of synthetic materials mar the surface more than a traditional clay bar. That's what I was trying to say. Sorry, folks. But there you go. I've clayed that side. Let me go ahead and rinse it off. Now what I'm going to do, even though the surface is a little bit wet there, I'm going to hit it. What's very interesting, since I clayed, this is sheeting off water a lot faster than the other side of the trunk lid. That kind of gives me an idea. I don't know if you guys know that little trick, but that gives you an idea of where you pull the contaminants off the paint. It'll sheet water faster on a clean surface versus the other side, which is sheeting really slow because there's still bonded contaminants on the paint. Let me go in here and shoot some iron remover on this side of the tailgate. Okay, as I do it, it's starting to turn purple in several areas. I'll bring you guys here in a minute. Let me do the area that I clayed with that synthetic clay towel from AutoZone for about $8.50. Let's see how well it did. I'll bring you in with the camera. If we look over here, you guys can see that purple bleeding there. I'm getting purple bleeding kind of happening all over the place. Slowly but surely, hopefully the angle will show you that, right? Can you see that purple stuff? It'll continue to get worse here in a minute. If I come over here where I clayed, guess what? Not as much. This is very typical when you use a clay towel. You might see some areas that didn't come off the paint. I want to talk about why that might be the case with a clay towel or a clay bar. We have to remember, when we're removing iron from the paint with a clay towel or even a traditional clay bar, what it's doing is shearing off the iron. Some of the iron may be actually kind of embedded into the clear coat, and that's why clay bars and clay towels or discs don't remove all the contamination completely. Did you guys know that? This is kind of simple proof here. You can imagine it, right? The synthetic clay towel is shearing off contaminants, but it can't get deep into the root of the paint, if you will, and we're going to see a little bleeding from some areas that we just sheared off the contaminant versus completely removing it from the paint from a embedded point of view. Does that make sense? Now if we come over here, we can see how much more iron is all over this gate here. Lots of iron bleeding there. It certainly did a nice job, but I wanted to make a point. Not all clay discs or clay bars are going to remove the contamination completely. This is why, in my opinion, it's best to use an iron remover first, get the embedded material out of the clear coat, and then lightly clay. You'll get perfection that way. Kind of makes sense? But it's a very good towel for $8.50. I'm using it on white paint. I have used it on black paint. It tends to mar the surface quite low versus some other clay towels and discs I've used on the market. But you can see all the bleeding over there, right? Hopefully the lighting's just right. See all the bleeding? Purple bleeding, and over here not as much. But guess what? That's proof that clay bars and clay towels can only shear off the contamination. They don't necessarily pull out the embedded contamination within the clear coat. Does that make sense? Love you guys. Hopefully that helps you out. Talk to you soon.